Look at the camera, look at you. Look at that, gotcha. I'm Michael Stockman, and I work at Overland Park Fire Department, and I've been here since 1987. My uncle was a firefighter. Kind of made sense after I got out of the Army. Did a lot of firefighting when I was in the Army just because of all the fires we used to start with the ammunition and stuff out in the woods. Me and my buddy Joe Watts at the time, we were both kind of going through the paper and we saw an ad for a firefighter in Leawood. And at the time we both went down there and applied. And me, Randy Hill, and Louis Dunham got hired at the time. And then Joe Watts ended up getting hired a few months later. But we all started over there in Leawood in 1980. $10,050 a year to start off with. It was $830 a month. And I remember when I got my first paycheck, I went to the fire chief and I said, hey, I think something's wrong with this check. And he looked at the check and said, no, that's right. And I looked at him like, are you kidding? I go, how do these guys with kids afford to work here? But yeah, his pay back then was very, very low, and it started increasing very rapidly in the 80s. I went to EMT school when I was there, and at that time, there was hardly any EMTs in the county. Way less EMTs than there are paramedics right now. So I got my EMT, and then I figured some of the future was going to be water rescue and stuff, so I went and got my lifeguard, went through water rescue, and started my fire science degree there. And I worked there for about 5 years, and then I went to Olathe in 1985. Worked in Olathe from 85 to 87, and then came over in Overland Park in 1987, and been here ever since. When you drove down 435 and saw the high-rise buildings and stuff, and I thought I wanted to be in Overland Park with the big buildings. I thought it would be, I thought I'd be fighting all these high-rise fires, which never. I think we've had one high-rise fire. Overland Park Fire at the time, they already had got rid of the American Francis. They had, the trucks. I think the first new thing was our Quint. Station 4 was being built, so they ran out of a double-wide trailer. I started off at Station 3, the Westgate Station, and they had Hogue was working, not Jeff Hogue, Dave Hogue, his uncle, and Dwayne Tracy, Chris Silva, and then Hank came out there with me, Hank DuPont at the time. Well, the biggest change were really in the early 80s when the fire trucks going from the two-stage pumps, the open cabs, no seat belts. Our air packs used to be the last case scenario. They were kept in a compartment, and if the chief started coughing in the fire, then he would say, mask up, and then we'd have to run back out the fire truck, open the suitcases, and put on the air packs. But he had a cough in there, and they could really eat a lot of smoke, the old fire chiefs. So, and we use booster lines for attack and fog nozzles. And the fog always worked good, and actually booster lines did work pretty good because you were able to get to the seat of the fire. Everything had wood shake shingles back then, so like 4th of July and stuff, it wasn't unusual to have 9 house fires in the county that night or something. So I think one night they had 11 on 4th of July. So, as they phased out the wood shake shingles and they got rid of the fireworks, all the 4th of July, and now 4th of July is kind of just boring. I've been on a 10-alarm general alarm fire in Kansas City, Missouri. I was at the biggest money loss fire, Kansas City, Kansas K fire. We've been up at Lawrence on a couple fires. We've been at the Hawk Auditorium and the downtown. Had a big hazmat call up in Lawrence at their big chemical plant. Both me and Hank went in on both of those, and we had to seal off the chlorine leaks inside there, which was way different than the training. We always did the smoke and, practice training on it, but when we went in there, it was just the whole place was a green cloud and everything was iced over, and it was a lot harder than what we trained on. But the training helped, and we were able to stop the leak, and I think we sent 2 people to the hospital on that one that got into the chlorine cloud. I was on the combat challenge for 4 years, and we were, at the time we were like the best in the nation. We were fighting between 1 or 2 other departments, always for the best in the U.S. Came close to winning the worlds, a couple times, just a fall here or something, a little mistake, and we were that close to winning the world championship. So I was very fortunate. I was over 40 years old when I was doing the combat challenge, and but it tore my body. I think all of our bodies ached from it. It was very physical and hard to do. Well, probably my biggest event was probably the biggest, everybody laughs at it all the time, because it was the water rescue in Missouri where there was 2 girls trapped they were on the top of their car out in the river, out of sight, downstream, and their boyfriends almost got killed trying to rescue them. Lee Summit was there, Kansas City, Missouri was there, Leawood was there, and Overland Park was there. Well, our first boat with 4 people went in there and launched. And as they were getting close to the girls, their boat capsized. And so instead of having just 2 girls to rescue, now we had 2 girls and 4 firefighters to rescue. And at the time, the chief turned around and said, Mike, do your water rescue stuff, save these people. And so then I kind of had to take over like the operations of it. And I had him set up the Leawood's aerial over, and I set up a high line, and found Lee Summit had this device, like a flotation device and net, and I said, we'll use that. And we set up with pulleys and stuff, lower that down to the victims. They got onto that, and then we could pull them up to their aerial and then lift them up onto the ladder and get them to safety. So the only thing anybody ever remembered was the boat sinking, and so everybody always used to laugh at it. But it was I've done a lot of different fires and stuff, but that was the most dangerous and scariest operation we ever had, for sure. And everybody got out alive. I enjoy the job. I enjoy the people I work with. I've built some good relationships with people here. I know a lot of people have thanked me for, teaching them stuff in fires and stuff, and keeping them thinking in the right direction. I've always had a rapport with newer people, talking to them and trying to steer them in the right direction when they get hired, and teaching them what the job's all about. And actually, even like when we go on the fires and stuff, instead of just trying to grab a nozzle and trying to do everything, trying to work with them, talk with them, teach them what we're doing as we're in the fire and stuff. I actually got to take my son Brian in. So we were on a fire where a couple firefighters got ran out, and so I asked the BCs, hey, can I take the next crew in? And they say, well, yeah. I go, I know where the fire is. I know I can get it out. And they say, okay, take the on-deck crew, and went over the on-deck crew. And at the time it was Fire District 2, and Brian Stockman happened to be on the nozzle. So I was like, all right, come on. So I took him in there, and we went up in the house and got up in the hallway, and the fire's running down the hallway, and start hitting the fire in the hallway. And I was kind of explaining to him, I go, okay, Brian, this blow by fire. We have to keep on advancing on this stuff. And so we advanced down the hallway and got to the master bedroom, started hitting for the master bedroom, and I explained to him, okay, this is still blow by fire. We're not at the seat of the fire yet. So we advanced to the master bedroom and got to the master bathroom. So then we started hitting it for the master bathroom, and I go, we're still hitting blow by fire. We're not at the seat of the fire. And we went through the bathroom and got to the walk-in closet, and that's where the fire was coming up. And it's like, that's where you get to the seat of the fire. And that's what people got to learn, that most of the time when you're hitting the fire and it's not doing anything, you're not at the seat of the fire. I'm so happy that this merger and everything worked together, and that, you know, I thank the department heads so much that they let the boys with this merger come over. I mean, I'm so proud to have them here to work together. And it is awesome being on that, you know, all in the same shift, and like being on that fire together. And, you know, it's something, you know, I think every firefighter and their son, you know, always have a dream that we'll be on the same fire together at one time. So, you know, there we got, you know, Chief Finazzo made for sure that they got a picture of us all together on that fire. He said, stop, we're gonna get a picture of you guys together. I'm 65, and I feel like I'm still going strong. I feel like I can do everything yet. I mean, that's not why I'm retiring. I'm retiring because I'm ready to, you know, move on in life and spend more time at the lake and traveling and stuff, and not have a schedule where I got to get back to the fire station. So, I mean, that's why I'm retiring. I love the job. I love working here. I think you have to spend a lot of time here in the weight room. I mean, the department, I mean, was so progressive at the time when I got hired here that they arranged while you're working between 8 and 5 o'clock in the evening, that they set time for us to come in here and work out. I know not everybody in the department uses it like they're supposed to, and they should, because it's not only good for your health and you know, well-being, but you know, it's also going to protect you in a fire, keep you from, you know, maybe having a heart attack or going down in a fire, or maybe help save somebody else's life because you have the strength and the energy to, since you worked out, to complete your task. Firefighter is kind of like a soldier. You have to be ready to do your job day or night, whether you're tired, whether you're sore, you don't feel very good. You got to pull it together and be ready so you can do your best. I'd like to thank my wife, Kathy, for putting up with our schedule, working the overtime, all the craziness, having the kids, having to raise the kids a lot of the third of our life without me. And I want to say thank you for that and all your hard work and raising great kids. I mean, all 4 of our kids are out in the workforce and very good kids. So I want to thank you for all that. There's some really great things that are in this department, you know, whether you don't agree with some policies and people at times and stuff, it's still, you know, you got to reflect the whole picture. And the whole picture was, this is a great place to work. It's a great job. People love firemen, you know what I mean? It's been a very rewarding career. You know, it's great to walk away and, you know, say, hey, I did this. I'm walking away healthy. It's the best job in the world.